They like,
hello, community. We are back, and I'm Selena,
Marissa.
Pamela.
and we are Abundance of Hope, Just Like Vlog. Today we are going to be talking about self-care during quarantimes. Times is hard, first of all. Let's just start off by saying that. I laugh a lot, and that's a part of my coping mechanisms because, first of all, Black people are hilarious, so we always got something funny to say. But secondly, the depth of our grief is so much that
You just can't even
you literally just can't even go there. So I, for one, have been trying to allow myself to feel the things that I feel and allow them to pass, because that's something that has helped me. I used to have really bad anxiety. Like, I would shake, I would not be able to eat because my stomach was so nauseous and unsettled. And a part of what really helped me calm myself and find my center, if you will, is yoga breathing. So that's something that I've absolutely been trying to rely on lately, while I allow myself to feel these really deep, hard emotions because of what is happening, not only all over the world, but to our community specifically. It's real hard. It hits you when you wake up. Like, if you sit in silence for a couple of moments, you can feel it crashing down on you. So my yoga breath has absolutely helped me to allow those feelings to overwhelm me for the 2 seconds that they need to, and then pass on.
Okay, well, yoga breath while you're doing yoga, or yoga breath employed in other situations?
Both. One of the people that I follow online for yoga, she always says, like, what you do on the mat will follow you off of the mat. And so that's where I learned first to...
Already, yeah.
She gets so upset.
She's closing the... But I'll talk about my self-care, actually, while she's doing that.
Yeah, we had a little outside noise.
My truest self-care tactic that has never failed me is my wine. And recently I've been getting into drinking my wine out of a mug, and I swear to you, it's a whole nother vibe. It's just like so much cozier, like out of my wine glass, excuse me, when I'm like bad bitch swirling, that's my vibe,
I feel it,
but like out of the mug, it's like cozy, a hug. Each sip is a nice little warm hug. Just feel the wine come down. I swear I'm not alcoholic. I don't drink wine every day, but wine has definitely gathered me so much. I just love it, and that has been my little self-care.
Yeah, I'm not mad at the people
and that's the
drink your
meditation.
wine.
I've actually been employing that breathing tactic that you're talking about during my meditation, because I find that, so when quarantine first started, I could not meditate for anything. There was just like thoughts going through my mind. It was so hard to quiet it. And me wanting to plan everything. I literally have planned my entire life out since I was a child. And so not being able to plan anything, not being able to plan things, but not in the way that I was used to planning. Yeah. So that has, I wasn't able to meditate. I've recently been able to get back into meditating, and that's really been the breathing and control of that is really what has helped me to kind of center myself and get to the point where I could stop overthinking so much, because it was too much.
Yeah.
That's weird, because I was thinking about self-care. This time for me has been more of a time for reflection, and having been, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, take your time. Yeah,
it's been on this earth 60 odd years, and just feeling the vibe that's going on is really hard for me. Yeah. Because
isn't this not your first pandemic?
It's not my first. Lifetime? It's not my first pandemic, because I realized there was one in 1968, but I don't remember that pandemic, and it's the ugliness that has come out in this pandemic, for me. Even listening to other countries and how they responded toward their people during the pandemic, and then seeing how America has responded to their people during this pandemic. It is. It's
Show
like
you the real shithole country.
Yeah, no, and then to watch and then I'm watching at the same day 2 different videos, and one is of a bunch of white people armed to the teeth marching up to Capitol, demanding that they open back up a city, even though there's a virus going around killing people. And I see a few police out there. And at the same time, I'm watching another video of some black women with their babies and their kids standing at a tax place trying to find out where their checks came. What are those checks? Their stimulus checks was. And the sheriff's all over the place, armed to the teeth, over to the side. This one person's video, and they go over to the side, and I swear I wonder, I guess it was the sheriff, so maybe the police was guarding, but they didn't have no sheriffs because they was all there. And I'm like, so I'm in a country where it warrants the same thing. These are women with their babies. Black women standing in a line. I'm sorry, I'm a black woman, They're standing in line with their babies. And I know when I'm with my baby, I'm my most meek. I'm my most vulnerable. I have my child with me. And they got police out there armed because they're asking, where's my stimulus? But then they have in another scenario where white people are marching up here with guns and grenades demanding that you open it up, and police, where are they? Wow. Because they hawk their way to this place. So I know people were aware of them. It ain't like they just appeared here. And so to see that type of hatred toward my people really is, that's what this thing has done to me. And so it really brought back being here 60 years, we ain't went nowhere. It's more covert than it used to be. But when you see a black man dying because the police got his foot on its neck, can you really say we've evolved? I mean, we had a teeny, in 60 years, not a whole lot. But, on the other hand, I'm going to flip the script. I'm so glad our community is sticking together. That, on the other hand, has really made me feel good because I'm like, wow, we're out there having each other's back. We're showing each other's love. I'm seeing that too. I'm seeing the love for each other in my community, and that makes me feel good.
Well, I was going to ask, do you feel like seeing that love and seeing that care is kind of a self-care for you? Well, that's not self-care.
But it does. It is because it's self. When I see
care.
People who look like me caring for people who look like me, because there's a lot of us out there, like you had mentioned earlier today, all skin folks and kin folks. And we run across a lot of that too. I mean, no doubt, doors slammed in our face because most of the gatekeepers that this system have allowed into place are those ones who will close the door for us.
Oh, of course. That's how they get those positions.
I also want to kind of point out that the psychological damage is also what you're talking about here.
Because I'm feeling
it's psychologically damaging for black people to continuously see black people being killed, brutalized, terrorized, disenfranchised, marginalized, eyes, like literally any eyes there ism that there is, like it's affecting black people, and that is hard.
I've lived through a lot of it, being 62, and like I said, growing up in South Central.
But that's also why the community care is healing. It heals us. It psychologically heals us to see our people caring for our people. And so
what else helps you to kind of come out of that?
Being able to do any self-care. That's why, we were talking earlier about maybe me taking a little time off so that I can, because it's like more than just this pandemic. This is not my first pandemic. It's my second pandemic. And so, because there was one in 1968. And so when I look at that, just the parameters of where I was in life then and where I am now, and having grown up in the system of supremacy over you, hanging over you, I need a break. I need a life break. And, going from that, trying to escape that by becoming a mother and, thinking with this union, I'll be stronger and this would be more helpful. And that was oppressive, and then having to raise all of you by myself and, go back to school, go to work, do all that stuff. I'm tired. And, so I just want a break. So that's what this pandemic is like.
really reminds you
like a tidal wave of emotions have came in. You know, everything that I've suppressed through my life, I'm feeling it. You know, so that's what, and I need to go process.
I think it's that loss of control too, because I think we all can acknowledge we feel super out of control in this pandemic, like, you know, and so I think it reminds us that, like,
helpless and vulnerable,
super vulnerable. It just reminds us that, so not only do we have, you know, this pandemic to deal with, but then there's also still all the isms and, you know, all the trauma and all that stuff on top of it is literally quite the load.
So self-care, I mean,
you have to employ it no matter what. Even in a pandemic,
and you do have
even
to
in the
employ
isms,
it.
even in the trauma. Like, that is literally why we're able, and it's why we're able to get to whatever phase or whatever resistance that we are trying to employ, is by being able to have that self-care, because or else what else
And
can we even do?
Self-care is very important, but I think, like I was saying, for me, my self-care has been, you know, just little bits at a time. Like, maybe go take a bath and soak, and you know, get a pedicure, you know, home pedicure, you know, things like that. Relax and read a book. Those
little
are
things,
self-care things. But right now, I guess there's so much going on for me being a mother, because even though all my kids are grown, I still hear from all of them. I still, you know,
Are a little too involved in their lives.
Well, yeah. And it's a pandemic. I don't have a choice but to be involved. I can't go nowhere. I can't run from them. You know where I'm at, you know. So I mean, that's why I wanted to start working, you know, from 1 to 5 instead of, like, I had a whole morning, because I swear by the time noon comes, 6 of them don't call me.
Well, now we're getting to the range of too much.
I definitely want to say that it sounds like to me, we definitely all have our own individual self-care practices that we have. And I feel like we can all agree that going forward, what we want to start building and cultivating more is community care. Community care systems, like, because even when we're doing our own self-care, even when we're taking our baths, doing our meditation, lighting our candles, pouring that glass of wine, we're still affected by what's happening to our community. We need community care.
Definitely.
We need to all be able to come together and heal together. That's what we need.
That social distancing is another thing. That's, you know,
I actually kind of enjoy it, to be honest.
I'm an introvert.
I've been enjoying not having to go anywhere. Whenever anyone's inviting me to something, I'm like, ugh, the Rona, you know, I'm not doing it. So that's actually been pretty nice. But there's definitely
tired. That's why, you know. But I do miss the networking.
Exactly.
You know,
I miss the networking and being with the people.
We've met some really awesome people. You
know, I miss the people.
And all those meetings we had set up and all the things that we had planned. You know, I actually do miss that. I miss being able to go to. Are you kidding me? It's sunny out there. Gene Coolin's sitting over there.
Well, you can still go to the park.
And I plan on going there.
That's definitely something you can do.
I still try to get my son, you know, ignite this little melanin right here.
And that's self-care in and of itself. So I think the whole gist of this is that self-care is whatever it looks like to you that helps you to recenter yourself, recharge yourself, and get to a point where you can take a little bit of a breath and a breather and even begin to step back from the trauma that would mean constantly experiencing.
For my self-care, I shut off my phone, and occasionally I do, because I
do not disturb me.
And I realize if it's an emergency, they're going to call somebody else, and I'm pretty sure that somebody else will be right around here, and so they can handle it. So I have learned to, shut off my phone when I need to. Don't answer the door. And fortunately, it's a secure building. So if you don't answer the door, usually nobody comes up. So I don't answer the buzzer, the door buzzer. So there are some things that I do for self-care. I just shut down, to myself.
Yes.
I love being in my own head sometime.
All right. Well, on that note, that concludes our self-care during quarantines Just Look vlog. I hope that, you're able to find some tips for self-care if you haven't already, been practicing your own. I hope that you realize we care about you, even if you don't know us, we love you.
Yes.
And I hope that you realize that community care is our goal. So we do want our community to be able to come together and heal together.
And that's self-care, helping somebody else too.
And but also remembering that you cannot pour in anyone else's cup if yours is empty. So
Girl,
number one priority has to be you. Whatever you have to do to get yourself in order
give me another cup
and care for yourself.
I just have a line of cups.
That's not a thing.